Welcome to KetoMealsAndRecipes.com. Today I will show you how I make my Keto Zucchini Lasagna. This recipe has an authentic Italian taste, uses only clean natural ingredients, and it does not need any faux version of keto-style noodles. And in this version I will show you how easy it is to make with zucchini slices. To make my keto lasagna for this recipe, I have adapted and will explain my mom's 2-in-1 dinner method, which was a really handy prep-ahead methodology that I have incorporated. And by using the 2-in-1 method, you will have one of the most flavorful and satisfying comfort meal versions of lasagna that really tastes authentic, and you will never know that you're using zucchini rather than real pasta noodles. So please keep watching. For anyone who's not aware of this, I never post a recipe that I'm just making for the first time. I always pre-test all of my recipes, usually 2 to 3 times or even more. So I have served this keto lasagna recipe to both my keto and non-keto family members, and everyone loved it. They weren't just being polite. Even my strongest critic loved it. And that's why I thought that this would be an excellent recipe to share with you today. But to give you a heads up, I'm going to use my prep-ahead Italian Bolognese sauce as meal part 1, as well as the link for the written formatted recipe for this Keto Zucchini Lasagna are all available in the description box below, so please do check them out down there. To describe this Bolognese sauce, it's a meaty, flavorful sauce all on its own. It's a great base for many recipes. And as a guideline for the size of piece you can serve yourself, to meet your weight loss or keto goals, the macronutrient ratio for each of 6 large, complete dinner-sized servings of my Keto Zucchini Lasagna is 2.8 to 1, with 10.7 grams of total carbs, 0.6 of dietary fiber, resulting in 10.1 grams of net carbs per serving. And part of the reason for the higher carbs is the zucchini. Alternatively, here's the macro chart if you want 8 smaller serving sizes. And these smaller serving sizes would be what I would typically serve as a lighter meal or for lunch, along with a small side salad. Now let's get started on meal 2, the Keto Zucchini Lasagna. As I hinted already, the first thing you have to do is make my keto Bolognese sauce. Using this Bolognese sauce is the secret to this amazing and authentic Italian taste. Just before getting started, I just want to mention, whenever I make Bolognese sauce, whether it's for this recipe or some other, I always make a double batch. If you want to support me, please watch the entire video, in which I will give you tips you can use and to learn how to best freeze and reheat your leftovers, or if you've made it as a prep-ahead meal. Okay, let's get back to this recipe. Begin by preheating your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. Next, in a mixing bowl, add the ricotta, 3/4 of your grated Parmesan, and a whisked egg, your salt, and your pepper. Stir everything to combine very thoroughly. Having done that, just set your bowl aside for a moment. Today I'm going to use a 9 by 7 inch or 23 by 18 centimeter or about a 3-liter deep-sided casserole dish to make this one-pan meal. I have to apologize. I forgot to press the record button when I started making this recipe, so I will just describe my first step. First, pour in about 1/2 to 3/4 cup of the Bolognese sauce into the bottom of your casserole pan. Then place the zucchini slices lengthwise on top of the Bolognese sauce. And while you're laying down the zucchini, make sure that you overlap each slice about halfway, and also lay the zucchini strips from one side to the opposite side of the casserole dish. These zucchini slices are very thin, and I use a mandolin to cut them lengthwise. You don't need an expensive mandolin. I just bought mine at a dollar store. At this point, I finally remembered to press record, and as you can see, I'm distributing half of the Bolognese sauce over the layer of the zucchini. Next, spoon of the ricotta mixture in large dollops over the surface, not just in one area. and then spread out evenly over the entire surface of the Bolognese sauce. After removing the reserved portion of my grated mozzarella, I take about half of it and sprinkle it on top of the ricotta layer. And I also sprinkle some of my Parmesan cheese on top of the mozzarella. As you know, lasagna is layered. Repeat with the next layer of zucchini, overlapping as we did with the first layer. To get an even nicely compressed dense layer of the lasagna and filling, use the flat of your hands to gently press down on the zucchini. This will help to even out the lasagna and help to spread the bolognese, ricotta, mozzarella, and Parmesan that you've put in between the two zucchini layers. You can have as many layers of zucchini that you want. My total will be 3 layers. So this is the second layer where I again spread the bolognese sauce. And then I put the ricotta cheese mixture on top of the bolognese as I did before. Distribute the mozzarella and a little sprinkle of Parmesan, and then finish with my top layer of overlapping zucchini. And on my top layer of the overlapping zucchini slices, I spread the reserved mozzarella and the Parmesan, and distribute the cheese as evenly over the surface as I can. And that's all there is to the prep. Now it's time to place the casserole in the preheated oven and bake for about 30 to 35 minutes uncovered. For the last 5 minutes, without opening the oven door, increase the heat to broil and continue cooking for about 5 minutes. By broiling, you will crisp up the surface cheese, and it looks amazing and smells wonderful. Then when you remove the casserole from the oven, leave the lasagna to cool for a few minutes. I would say about 10 to 15 minutes. At which point you have your last major decision, what size serving you want, 6 or 8, and then cut it and serve it. And if desired, garnish with a few fresh basil leaves. Also, if you find my channel useful and have not done so before, please subscribe. If you have, please check that you are still subscribed, because some people have notified me that they're not receiving notifications. And if you have any requests, please do leave it in the comment section. And if you do like my recipe, give it a like and leave a comment. I love hearing from you. Now for the freezing instructions for both the bolognese and the lasagna. If you've taken my advice and made double the batch or triple the batch of the keto bolognese, store it in single-use freezer-safe containers and freeze for other prep-ahead meals. As you can guess, I like zucchini, and this bolognese goes really well with zoodles for an Italian-style spaghetti meal. As for this lasagna recipe, it's also well suited for freezing and will store well for several months if stored properly. Now there's 2 ways you could freeze this. You could assemble the recipe but not bake it, store it in an airtight container, and just freeze it until needed. Or you could pre-bake it and place in a freezer-safe airtight container and store it that way. For either method of freezing, when you're ready to serve, take it out of the freezer the night before, transfer it to your fridge, and let it thaw slowly in your fridge overnight. Then place the lasagna on the counter to get to room temperature and either bake or reheat according to my previous instructions. But if you're in a hurry, after the lasagna is thawed, you can heat it in the microwave. And now it's time to taste and enjoy. I hope that you will find this recipe useful and tasty. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video tutorial. I hope you have a wonderful day. Cheers!